Good afternoon. It's Tuesday, May 9th. I'm Laura Cornfield, and this is IBA News broadcasting live from Jerusalem. A video clip posted by the U.S. Embassy in Saudi Arabia announcing U.S. President Donald Trump's pending visit to the kingdom edited out the portion of his announcement where he refers to his trip to Israel. The incident led to widespread criticism directed at the State Department, who later called the video clip an inadvertent mistake. By yesterday afternoon, the video clip was removed from the U.S. Embassy website in Riyadh. Senior U.S. House Democrat Eliot Engel, who is a member of the House Foreign Affairs Committee, sent a letter to Secretary of State Rex Tillerson saying at a time when the United States should be encouraging the governments of the region and their people to promote tolerance, respect, and mutual recognition, this video implies that the U.S. accepts Saudi Arabia's public rejectionist positions towards Israel. Meanwhile, the Union of Foreign Ministry Employees instructed its workers today to launch a series of sanctions beginning Thursday that will significantly disrupt Trump's planned visit to Israel. The union instructed its workers to put a halt to all coordination efforts with the U.S. surrounding the trip, not to attend preparatory meetings, and not to issue necessary visas and permits. The sanctions come amid an ongoing dispute between the Treasury and the employees of the Foreign Ministry, who are demanding improved work conditions and salaries. Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas announced today that he is willing to meet with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu during U.S. President Trump's visit to the region later this month. Abbas made the statements after a meeting with German President Frank-Walter Steinmeier in Ramallah today. Abbas said the Palestinians are obligated to peace based on a two-state solution. The German president told Abbas that he believes both sides need to find common ground in order to advance peace forward, adding the only resolution to the current impasse is one based on the two-state solution. Israel lashed out at Turkey's President Recep Tayyip Erdogan after he called on Muslims to flood the Al-Aqsa Mosque on the Temple Mount as much as possible. IBA's Margot Dudkevich reports.
Speaking at a two-day conference on Jerusalem in Istanbul, the Turkish president called on Muslims to visit the Al-Aqsa Mosque daily, declaring each day Jerusalem is under occupation is an insult to us. Shortly after, Turkey's Prime Minister Binali Yildirim called on Muslims to protect Jerusalem and the Al-Aqsa Mosque and referred to Israel as a racist state. A statement issued by Israel's foreign ministry declared that those who systematically violate human rights in their own country should not preach to the only true democracy in the region. Israel, the statement said, protects freedom of worship for Jews, Muslims and Christians and will continue to do so despite the baseless slander launched at it. In his speech, the Turkish president also took Israel to task over the controversial Muazzin bill that calls to restrict the use of loudspeakers in the country's mosques late at night and early morning. It was the first time the Turkish president lashed out at Israel since the signing of an agreement between Jerusalem and Ankara last July, aimed at restoring ties between the two countries and end the diplomatic crisis that broke out following the Turkish flotilla to the Gaza Strip in May 2010. Senior Israeli officials said yesterday that at present Jerusalem will make do with a foreign ministry response in order to prevent the situation from escalating into a full-blown crisis. Margot Dudkevich, IBA News.
Police are investigating a spate of hate crime attacks in East Jerusalem and the Galilee. On Road 21 between Ramat Shlomo and the Shuafat refugee camp, some 20 vehicles were vandalized early this morning. Some of the vehicles were spray-painted with the words administration price tag, and the tires of other vehicles were punctured. Police are also investigating an incident in the village of Noara near Afula, where unknown assailants spray-painted on several buildings the slogans administrative revenge and administrative price tag. Police said they were alerted by a civilian and on arrival to the village discovered that the tires of 8 vehicles had been punctured. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu defended the controversial legislation known as the country's new nation-state bill that refers to Israel's status as the national homeland of the Jewish people. Speaking at a Likud faction meeting yesterday, Netanyahu declared there is no contradiction between the law and equal rights for all Israeli citizens. Members of the opposition and Israeli Arab parties expressed outrage over the bill, which will be put to the vote in the Knesset, and described the legislation a declaration of war against the Israeli Arab sector. The bill also determines the right to realize self-determination in the State of Israel, which is unique to the Jewish people, and reportedly revokes the official status of the Arabic language in the country. Chairman of the U.S. Military Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Joseph Dunford, was welcomed by an honor guard at the Israeli Army headquarters in the Kiryat in Tel Aviv today. Chief of Staff Lieutenant General Gadi Eisenkot handed the visiting general an honorary medal in recognition of his outstanding service and special contribution to the Israeli Army, aimed at strengthening ties between the two countries. Dunford will meet later today with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Defense Minister Avigdor Lieberman. The situation in the Middle East, the ongoing civil war in Syria, and the transfer of arms to Hezbollah, as well as terror groups in the Sinai Peninsula, are among the topics he will discuss in meetings with Israeli officials. Well, it appears that the new Israel Public Broadcasting Corporation, known as Kan, will officially launch next Monday, May 15th, replacing the existing Israel Broadcasting Authority and bringing an end to this English news program. Following years of political wrangling, delays, and extensions, it seems as if this time it's final. The Special Knesset Committee, headed by Coalition Chairman David Bitan, is at this hour convening for the third consecutive day to discuss final discrepancies and possible amendments to the Public Broadcasting Bill in order to prepare it for its second and third readings tomorrow evening. Deliberations over the revised bill, which aims to establish an independent news division that will be separate from the IPBC, are expected to continue well into the night and tomorrow. Kulanu MK Roy Folkman, who is representing Finance Minister Moshe Kahlon, announced that Kahlon agreed that the news division's editor-in-chief will temporarily act as the division's director general for a period of 2 weeks until a permanent director general is appointed. In wake of this decision, Coalition head David Bitan said it was not necessary for both Kan and the News Corporation to launch simultaneously, and concluded that there was no need to delay Kan's operations until the end of the month, as he initially recommended. It was also decided that Radio Reka in the Russian language, including several other foreign language news updates as well as English, will be part of the news division, while Arabic TV and radio news will broadcast as part of the IPBC. As for English television news, unfortunately, despite our efforts, continuous campaigning, and much of your dedicated support, at this stage we are not part of any corporation, and there are no plans to continue this English news broadcast in the near future. A high-speed torpedo capable of reaching speeds of up to 200 knots per hour was tested by the Iranian Navy on Sunday in the Straits of Hormuz, U.S. officials said. The advanced Hoot torpedo, manufactured by the Islamic Republic, is capable of reaching a speed 4 times faster than any other torpedo. Sunday's incident occurred a week after Iran attempted to fire a submarine-launched cruise missile, also in the same area, which failed to hit the target. A tourism record was set in April, with 349,000 tourists visiting the country, the highest figure for any month since the founding of the state. April was also one of the busiest months for air travel in Israel's history. According to the Airport Authority, more than 1,800,000 people traveled through Ben Gurion Airport in 12,302 international and domestic flights. There was about a 26% rise in international flights compared to the month of April last year. The most active airlines were Pegasus, Wizz Air, and Yisrael. The most popular route was to Istanbul, mainly for transit flights, and the most popular countries were Turkey, France, and Cyprus. Gullivers Gate, the $40 million giant miniature world in Times Square, officially opened today. The project, which was spearheaded by Israeli Iran Gazit, features 300 miniature scenes of landmarks and towns from 50 countries around the world. Gazit, who founded Mini Israel over 14 acres here at home, has gone large-scale with nearly 50,000 square foot exhibit in the Big Apple. It took more than 100 artists from around the world over 3 years to complete this incredible exhibition, named after Jonathan Swift's Gulliver Travels. In the span of several hours, visitors can see tourist sites from across the globe, from the Eiffel Tower to the Western Wall to the Great Wall of China. More than 100,000 tiny people, 1,000 trains, and 10,000 cars, crafted by top model-making artists, are all over this miniature world. That's Gullivers Gate in New York City's Times Square. Entrance runs between $25 to $36. And closer to home, the 9th Menashe Forest Music Festival is set to get underway next weekend. For 3 days, from the 18th to the 20th of May, music and nature lovers can enjoy a wide range of performances to the backdrop of the UNESCO-recognized Biosphere Reserve in the Megiddo Regional Council between Kibbutz Ein HaShofet and Kibbutz HaZoreah. One of the concerts on the bill will be Yael Deckelbaum and the Women's Peace Ensemble. 14 women on one stage performing their viral hit with over 3 million hits on YouTube and another 2 million on Facebook, Prayer of the Mothers. Sung in Hebrew, Arabic, and English, the ensemble is comprised of Jewish, Muslim, Christian, religious, and non-religious women. Also on schedule is Aviatar Banai and Orphaned Land in their only performance in Israel this year. You can get tickets for the entire weekend or for single days.
ושבתי מגלותי, יפתחו שעריי אל הטוב האמיתי.
In local money matters, shares were up on the Tel Aviv Stock Exchange while the shekel strengthened in foreign currency trading. Here are the numbers. And the IBA weather team says the heat wave will continue tomorrow with temperatures remaining unseasonably hot. In the coastal regions, temperatures will drop slightly and humidity will rise. Here are the highs and lows at home and abroad. And that's all for this newscast. Join us again tomorrow, same time, same channel. Until then, I'm Laura Cornfield wishing you a good evening and shalom from Jerusalem.